All right, guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Live Your Legacy podcast. I want to introduce somebody very special, somebody who I admire very much, who is a man of wisdom, was a deep man, very successful entrepreneur, has decades of experience over myself, and there's just so many things that I admire about this man right here.
Decided the person that you want to be, not who you are today, right? Not based on your 5 senses.
Mr. Rob is actually the founder of a best-selling book. It's called Connect and Grow Rich, and this man has the grace for connection. He is somebody who can make connections with just around anybody, and throughout his whole life, he's been able to amount to a fortune just through connecting with people, right? Just through building genuine relationships. So I want to ask you, Rob, aside from this connection that you and I were able to have together, what would you say to share with the audience, number one, is the key to connecting with people? What is the key to building genuine relationships? What is the key to building, genuine relationships with people? That it's not like you're just trying to do a quick transaction and shake hands with the person, but trying to build something long lasting.
I think I would say to answer that question is you got to believe in the goodness of people again, right? I think when most people look at networking or connecting, they don't see it for the long term because they just see the initial transaction, the initial benefit. And you should be looking at, the goal is to look at people that's going to be there for a lifetime, and help you get to whatever level you want to get to in life. Because no matter what journey you're on, what season you're in, you're going to need different people, different mentors. You're going to need people better than you in whatever area that it may be. Sometimes when you're focused on just chasing the bag, getting money, your health is going to, decline, right? So you get this money, but you've been eating out every day. Now you're overweight. So now you're going to have to get trainers or people that, take fitness very important, right? And just like with spiritual, you're going to always need that balance because no matter how far you get, you'll always feel like you're missing something when you're not connected to, the higher power. You know what I'm saying? So I would say in connecting oneself, one, believing in the goodness of people, and then two, having a high self-image. Most people don't have a high concept about themselves, right? So a lot of people meet and they're looking at, based on this person's monetary efforts or, fame, this person is better than me. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the way to look at it because we all the same, like every single person. And I think everybody on every level wants people just to care. They say people don't care what you do, they don't care what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel, right? So I think everybody wants people around them that's going to actually care for them and be kind, but you got to have a good self-concept about yourself to know you're worthy of being there, connect.
That is so true, man. It reminds me of when I was a server at Olive Garden. When I got my first job, my general manager told me, Chris, you're going to meet a lot of people. And people are not always going to remember your name, but they're never going to forget how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. So I love how you said that, and finding the goodness in people is so true, because these days, we see that people are just trying to take advantage of others. We see that people are just, stepping on each other's toes, scratching, not scratching each other's back, but backstabbing each other, and just over simple things, just burning bridges, when in reality should be pouring more into the relationship and growing and fostering that into something better. So I love all those points that you just shared, and that runs me to a question that I have. Like, how did you get started in networking and building relationships and connecting with others?
Well, I started at a young age. I started my first business. I had a candy store at 10 years old out of my garage. And to even go back further than that when I first started networking, but I was number 4 or 5, right? So I've always considered myself the black sheep, or the person that, you know, was kind of like alone. Even though we had a small 1,800 square foot house, you know, it was 7 of us in it, including my parents. You know, it was only like 2 bedrooms, right? So I didn't even have a bedroom until I was like in the 9th, 10th grade. So for me, friends, people were always an outlet, because I feel like my friends connected with me more than my siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I feel like my younger brother was a mama's boy, which he was, and my older sisters, you know, thought we was getting more attention now because me and my brother was the youngest. So, you know, didn't really feel like I had that bond. So friends were my like outlet. So then fast forward to me being in college, I got introduced to a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I got introduced to the world of multi-level marketing, network marketing. And I started, you know, just reading books and being around people. That's really where my personal development got started. So that's about like almost 19 years ago. It got started right then. And the more I read, the more I consumed. And then in college, I was cutting hair. You know, when you just came just now, I was cutting with my friends, another young multimillionaire. But I was cutting him because he asked me. But I don't do it for everybody, but it's in the genes. I'm nice with it. I'm nice with
You're
it.
smooth. You're like the Picasso, but for the hair.
I'm nice. You know, I cut my hair too. You know, so all the pictures you see, that's me too.
That boy look fresh. That boy look fresh.
But no, when you're cutting hair, you learn to, you know, barbers have usually like a very unique relationship with their clients, right? Like it's almost like cheating when you step out on the barber, right? So as a barber, you're in a guy's personal space, right? So it already is a level of trust that you're gonna have. For one, for me to even cut your hair, and then two, you're usually gonna tell your barber certain things. You feeling, you know, you're able to get a really close bond. So I would say from 12 to 21, 9 years, you know, I'm listening 80% of the time, 20% talking, and it's amazing. Most people that they don't really get listened to, right? So many people are trying to, you know, be understood that they don't take the time to understand. And that's really my cheat code, because I can sit and not say nothing, and this person is gonna feel like I'm the closest person in the world because I just listened, you know, and I listened intently. I didn't say anything, and sometimes that's really all people need. You know, I think a topic too, just kind of like pivot, that a lot of people are going through right now is depression, right? Depression is really big, and one of the reasons why it's big because we're not having conversations.
Ooh, that's deep.
We don't think people care, right? Like, you think if I share something with you, it's a burden, other than, you know, it's a blessing. Like, when I ask somebody how they're feeling, I'm like, send me the paragraph. Don't say, you know, I'm feeling good, like, because you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
pour your heart out, express yourself. Let me know how you really feel.
Like, really tell me, because you never know. You know, like when it's somebody's last, you know, time. And as you get older, you start to learn, like, man, somebody can be here today, gone the next. Like on my birthday, you see my friend, in fact, I was just at the gym with him yesterday, and I got a call on my birthday that he got in a car accident and died instantly. So, you know, the funeral was almost, 2 days ago? But it's, you know, every time you see things like that, you always, what do you care about? You don't care about making money. You don't care about what you're doing. You care about, man, I wish I had more time, right? So building quality relationships with people is one of the highest acts that you can do while you're here, because it gives you that connection, gives you that joy, gives you that that love, right? Love is the highest emotion. You get that from being with people, right? You can have, I understand there's a lot of people that's introverts, but I'm saying that, you know, it's always good to have somebody, you know, at least one person that you feel like they understand you. So that's why connecting is deeper for me.
Man, that was so deep, and I want to actually ask you a couple questions, because you talked about a lot of people going through depression because they're not expressing themselves. How does having a high self-concept actually help with improving your self-esteem and your inner self-talk, so you can actually be able to feel worthy of having more connections and conversations and relationships?
I mean, just think about it. Like, when somebody goes through, I've been there, right? So I can talk about it, you know, personally, other than stories. But when you start beating yourself up. Let's talk about the stages of grief or the stages that you go, right? You're on a high, everything's good. Then something happens and shakes your world. For me, it could be a hurricane, actually being through a hurricane, being in floods, parents dying, divorce, best friends dying in accidents. Like you can, I got a wealth of experiences good and bad, right? So, when you're thinking about like when life comes at you, one of the things you start doing that leads to, I feel like, depression, all right, is what you start telling yourself, right? The words you're saying, the person you listen to the most is you, right? Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times you start telling yourself, what are you saying? Like, I'm not good enough, man. I can't do nothing right, man. Dang, I messed up. You beat yourself up. You beat yourself far greater than any other person can, right? 91% of people, Ed Milet, I think he says, people think about 65,000 thoughts and 91% are negative.
Yeah.
Right? You only have a 9% window in order every day to get better, but 91% is negative. So when you're alone, right, you're by yourself, you're beating yourself, like you start to feel unmotivated, right? You're not yourself. You're not going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going out, let's say, because maybe your pockets is hurting, right? So you're not doing none of the things that normally you would be doing if everything was okay. So that's how it starts to, for me, right? I ain't no expert, but that's what happens. You forget who you are, right? It's identity that for real. Somebody comes in and then took your identity, right? Because you're thinking you are your circumstance, but really you far greater, right? So that's a lie that your self-talk has to be strong. So the higher you raise your self-identity, you can do that through what? Going to the gym. Because you go to the gym, you're going to feel better.
Yes.
Right? 85%. Going to the gym gets you an 85% boost. Because you're at the gym, then what? You're around other people as well. So you're able to see, interact, maybe get a partner, right? So when you're at the gym, then you say, all right, cool, let me just, I'm feeling better. It makes you want to actually go out, right? Let me treat myself, right? Let me take myself somewhere. And sometimes getting dressed up and putting stuff on, like you're going somewhere, even if you stay, it activates something, right? You know what I'm saying? So these are just the different levels of how you can regain and go back, right? Because the thing is, when you're in a situation, you think people don't understand, or you don't think people care, or you think people are going to judge you. So that's all fear, right? So you, to yourself, man, I would do this, man. You got this person's number, but you know what? You're embarrassed because you don't think people are going to understand. You see that? So
that's deep. When
you got people that's going to talk to you, right? And you may have had certain traumas that happened when you were young. A lot of times it starts when you're young. And you try to talk or you try to do something and somebody is not there for you, and you say never again.
Yeah.
I ain't never going to let that happen to me.
Yeah.
I know as guys, we always go through, we get our heart broke, we like, not happening again. So, to bring it full circle, I think the higher your self-concept is, and the more and even with that, the secret is telling yourself who you are, right, in the mirror, right? You got to tell yourself who you are before you get there. And you got to be delusional because you got to start to live inside of the person that you want to be, not who you are today, right? Not based on your five senses. You got to go inside, create, and say, hey, I'm this type of rock star. I'm going to walk, talk it, live it. And that's how you become the person that you're thinking about. That's how you do it. And that's how you beat it. But once again, it all starts with you.
Absolutely. We just talked about the importance of the self-concept and how much of a crucial role that it plays in our human behavior, in the way that we think, in the way that we act, in the way that we introduce ourselves, in the way that we do everything in our lives. Really comes down to the way that we see ourselves, right? Some people call it the self-image, some people call it the self-concept. It's identity. And what really stuck out to me, man, is that you've been able to carry yourself with a very confident, strong self-concept. And you've been in places where you've been depressed, where you've been down, where you have been faced with, adversity and challenges like many of us have. So what would you say is, if you're going through depression right now, or maybe you think that it's the end of the world, Maybe some people want to take their life. Maybe some people want to quit their job. Maybe some people are just a rock bottom. Like, how do you get out of a mental rut like that?
It's a great question. I just had a young friend of mine, a young buddy. I left a video for today who was in a situation like that, who was seconds away from taking his life. And, now, like I said, we're on that, we talk every day. He's 1,000 times better. And I tell him, like, now, even though he experienced that, that's a testimony. And that's a testimony that's going to reach so many people, right? When you, when you're just by yourself, and he's a young guy, did a lot of accomplishments, but you have things go on, and a lot of times it's financial. You forget that this too shall pass, right? It's just like when it rains, when it snows, then it's sunny again. Things are going to come around again. Don't think you're not enough. It's a lie that you think if you leave in this world that people would be okay. Like, you can feel that, sometimes people feel there's such a burden and they're so afraid, they don't want to feel like they're so afraid of failure that just because where they're at right now, they'll let that think that's who they are. And that's not who you are. That's like, right. And that's why it's important to have a relationship with God, man, because, when you read things, it tells you who you are, right? And sometimes you need that. That's why if you're not around people, you gotta have books, you gotta be reading positive things. That's gonna remind you who you are. So that's one, is you're more powerful, you're more loved than you know. And once again, just give yourself time. Just think one day at a time. Sometimes it can be 1 minute, right? 1 hour. But just know more people are there than you know. And then also remember that it's people that's going through really crazy situations that is 100 times worse. Because for some reason, we think when we go through things,
yeah, man.
Well, at least in America, right? Like, we think man, we can't pay rent, or we went through a bad relationship, or our parents wasn't there, or something happened. Like, that's the end of the world. And it's like, these people that, are going through things that, parents were stolen. I mean, just the worst kind of things that happen. It's like,
we can't even imagine because they're so bad, and right? We've never been able to experience the tragedy.
It's somebody wealthy that's gotten an accident, that, can't move their limbs. It's somebody that has everything, but they're addicted to, drugs and certain things like that. So it's like, you thinking that because you don't have something today, that you're, like it's it. And it's like, you got more than what you think, man. Like, you're more than what you know. You're worthy. You ain't no failure.
You are worthy.
Right?
Wow, man.
You're not a failure, and things are going to get better. Let me tell a personal story. I remember when I was in multi-level marketing, I had a fast-growing team, and everybody quit. They changed the comp plan, as they usually do in these comp plans. And I remember having to move back in to the lower level suite of my parents' house, which is another way I had to move back into the basement, right? It sounded fancy though. And I was there, and I was very sad, beating myself up. And before I went on like a whole year binge of like personal development and seminars and things like that, I went to my uncle's house. I went over to my uncle's house, and he could see in my face that something was like going on. And it's my uncle that, I got one uncle that's like, I would say really affectionate, affirming. And I went over there, and we get to talking, and I'm like, because me and my father, even though he was there, he was present, I never really felt his presence. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never had them talks where I could really be open. And I'm sure a lot of guys can relate with that. Like,
totally, man. I relate to that. Like, the lack of intimacy, emotional maturity, availability.
So you're afraid, right? Yeah. Like, because you don't know what to do. So when you don't know what to do, the first thing is to be afraid, right? Yeah. So I was talking to him, and I'm talking with my head down, and things like that. And he looks at me, and I never forget. He said, "You ain't no failure. You ain't no failure. You Coats. You gonna do it." And I cried. He gave me a hug too. Oh God. I cried so hard, like I cried like Celia of Color Purple, you know.
It
Or
brought
was
you, yeah, it brought you to
right?
tears,
Oh
man.
my God! But it was like that hug. I don't even know when I got a hug like that
Wow.
from my dad, you know. But it was is what I needed, right? And that's what like hearing those words and being safe enough to trust him and tell him where I was at and him embrace that. That's what broke it. That's what broke it. So that's so important. Imagine if I wouldn't have had that conversation. How many more lives that wouldn't have affected, right? If I would have had kids, like who knows? But I had a person, right, who was there. And I think that's what we need more than anything you see on social media. You see, it's about financial literacy, get money, get money, get money, get money, get bags, all this. You need to talk about love. We need to stop tearing everybody down. If she's a woman, he's a man, these views, like what we really need is more love, more sympathy, more compassion, and more understanding. Like that's what's the new success for me is peace. You know, I ain't got to go and talk about how bad or great women is, like to feel good about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got to talk about marriage. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to talk about relationships. You know, I just want peace, man. Peace, love, good vibes, man. Like, because we ain't here forever. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not here. So I think those things is what's missed, and I think that's why we connected. And because it was a safe, loving, understanding. Hey, I could be totally transparent, and you ain't gonna judge me.
Yeah.
You gonna see me, like you
Yeah.
can really see me without
Yeah.
the shades.
Yeah.
You can really look and see, I need something, and I
Yeah.
think we all, especially people that got success or some stuff. The more famous, the more is missing.
Wow, man, that's so deep. And by the way, I have these shades on because if not, that sun would be raping my eyes right now. I'd be like a blind man. But man, one of the things I admire about you is, man, you got such a big heart. You're truly caring. You wear your heart on the sleeve. You're compassionate. You show sympathy, and you're just deeper than what people see on the surface. And most people that have attained a lot of success, made a lot of money, they're not deep people. They don't really care. They don't have the time. They're too busy. They're too caught up in their own world. And to know that you have that kind of depth and you can offer that kind of space for people to open up, to create real meaningful connections, talking about the peace that provides, it also brings about the bads, right? Because when you bring the right energy into a relationship and you see what you can give, how you can support, how you can help, rather than what you can take, there's no other option than for abundance and money to be made. Because there's something real. And those are the kind of relationships that I'm building in my life right now. I built a lot of relationships where they were superficial. They were to make money fast, to get something fast, to see what I can get out of it. But none of those things really lasted, right? Now I am building relationships that, man, I know I'm going to meet your son one day. I know that in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, we're going to be in contact. We're going to do business for sure. We're going to be helping each other on our journey.
Yeah.
And it's much deeper than business. So the connectionaire is what they call you. And it makes total sense because you're the epitome of connecting with people and building relationships, being authentic, being genuine. And I really admire that about you. I want to ask you a question. Is there one specific connection that you made that changed your life?
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. You know him. His name is Robert Coats. The second and third, right? I say the second, that's me, right? So the connection I've learned to value that's more important than any other connection first is the connection and love I have for myself, right? You gotta, first and foremost, you gotta go back and you gotta heal that little boy.
Ooh, man.
Right? You gotta heal. Healing is the new sex, right? But
Healing is the new sex.
You gotta,
Dude, louder
heal
for
that,
the people in the back,
right?
my
You
brother.
gotta heal that little boy, and you gotta love you.
Wow.
You gotta love you, man. Until you love yourself, you can't love somebody else. Like I had a love coach when I was going through my divorce, right? And I never forget, she was like, You know, because I'm like, why do I need a love coach? And he says, well, if you've never been loved properly, how can you love somebody else? All right. So, and if you've never been loved, if you don't love yourself, how can you even know to receive it? Right? It's like somebody inheriting, you know, $1 billion and they've never had 100,000. It's like you're not going to value it. You see that? So you got to know the value that you have for yourself, and it's not a selfish. It's okay. It's a virtue of selfishness to love yourself. Number one, in love, because when you take care of what I feel like the Spirit God gave you, I mean, you're even going to be that more blessed. Second connection that changed my life came into existence 11/21/2015, around 7:34 p.m. His name is Robert Coats the Third. That's my son. And, you know, also, I would say this guy too. And the reason why, and I'm glad we're talking about this because it's rare that if you look at just my social media, you didn't see me, you may think I'm superficial. You may think that I'm like materialistic, right? Because fashion or chains. But I think this is the first one I really get to highlight and people get to hear me and hear who I am and hear my heart, right? I haven't been doing it as good as I can to highlight that, I would say. So I'm grateful that we can talk about this. But with my son, it's definitely, when he came in this world, it's been a love that you wouldn't trade for anything in the world, and that you would give your life for it without blinking, you know, something other than yourself. And so that's been amazing to me because he's the first person who taught me unconditional love. Unconditional love, and now I know, like, because I never used to be a dog person, things like that, but now I understand because dogs, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
It gives you, it's a different sense, it's a different love. No matter your weight, you got some money, you ain't got money, you know, it's just with him, like they just want to be close to you, and it's like, man, after all the stuff I done did, and you could be looking at yourself and beating yourself up, and you got somebody that comes in and happy to see you, right? And they don't care about, hey, we got to sleep on the couch today, or hey, you know, we ain't got nothing to eat today. You want to, like, they're never looking at you based on what you have, and that's what I want. That's the only, you know, that's the only thing I can receive. Not in a relationship, we're talking to somebody, I would have to have that because it feels too great. You know what I'm saying? And then if you get to share half my stuff, you at least do. I'm playing, but that has been the best and greatest thing. And then, like, I thought that success too, like, all right, cool, I got my son, I had the dog, all right, cool. And it's like, it's still like, you still need love, man. Like, no matter what, it's like it's still missing, because it's like, you can go through and you can build a legacy, and he don't get a girl one day, and he don't get some girl, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you need somebody that, one, you know, like, you can share this life with, and that you can truly enjoy, and like, and then just have a different love, right? So that's what I am going through now, right? I was a bachelor. I said I was, you know, wasn't gonna be after my marriage. I'm like, hey, I'm polygamous, you know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know I'm here for a good time, not a long time, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
your champagne
hey,
coffee
I'm gonna be
vibes.
upfront with you. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, one is too close to none, as Floyd Mayweather says, right? So, but no, man, when I really, like, you know, my heart of hearts, would that be amazing to have fully, and to, you know, risk it all? Absolutely. So that's what that's the next. I don't even know when we start talking about that, you know. I'm gonna be on a love show. I didn't ask to be on 3, but yeah, that's
So, love, you know, you can have the money, you can have the cars, you can have the penthouse, you can have it all, but if you don't have love, then all else fails, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the major points that I've captured from what you've been saying, because we see so many people that are successful, we look up to them, what they have, but man, they're empty inside because they don't have that love.
Yeah.
So we got to give ourselves that love. We got to pour into ourselves first.
And we absolutely do. And even with you, like, when you think about you, and even the people listening, like, who's the top 3 relationships that you have?
My top 3 relationships, I would say.
Number one in order.
Number 1 in order? Man, you're going to put me on the spot there. Top 3 relationships I have right now. I wouldn't put an order to you, but I would just name you 3 people that they mean a lot to me.
Uh-huh.
I would say one of them is my cousin Andres. Second one I would say is my friend Diego. The other one I would say is my buddy Greg, my brother Matt. You know, those are some people that I would say I'm the closest to. Now that I think about it, I could be closer to them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But those are the people that I truly trust. Like if I had to put my life on their hands, I know that they would do well with it.
Right. And how many of that, when you think about them, do you think about money? Do you think about, you don't think about none of that stuff that we chase a lot of the time, right? You just think about just being around them. You know what I'm saying? Just the fun, the laughter, you know, that's the great times. And I think it's lots of, you know, that's what the world really needs. Before we walked in here, I was reading something that said in this country, they're paying the people now to leave the house so they're not so alone, right?
Wow, that's crazy.
So, you know, I think that's something is needed. And I think as far as like, if we talked about depression, we talked about like the value of people why you should care, healing, things like that. I think something else we should talk about is money.
Yeah, man. How can you? So, how about we talk about money in this way? You've been known to be the connectionaire. You have built connections that have generated you a fortune. Can you talk about how the right connections have been able to amount to your success?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think even too with that, even telling people, all right, what they should start doing, right, is even important as well, because they're like, man, you know, they're looking at me like, oh, you got it. And it's like, hey, as an entrepreneur, you see this? The only thing money helps you
in the
do,
roller coaster,
right, is disguise. You never know. You can paint a great smoke
it's
scene.
like a Disney park.
I'm telling you, like, success is a moving target. That's why when people get it, they hold on it so tight, because it's like, you don't know when the next time it's going to be back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, come back, please.
So money comes and goes, but
Yeah.
connections are there forever.
Relationships,
Never burn the bridges.
it's always going to be there. I know, no matter what goes on, if I lose everything, the one thing I always can look at is my network, right? And I tell people, you got to start digging your well before you're thirsty, right? Don't wait. It's like insurance, life insurance. You don't wait until to get to the month of, right? Like you got to already have it, you know, just in case, even though you don't want to use it, right? But just in case, you need to have it. It's always better to have it than not. So having a network of people, and I say it does take time, energy, and that's why I think social media is important, because it lets you just constantly be a reminder of people all the time, right? And then two, your network is your net worth.
Yep.
Most times you see people that have a big net worth is because they either impact a lot of people, directly or indirectly, right? But the network, the bigger the impact, the bigger the income, and the bigger the network. You know what I'm saying? You know, the more your net worth. So how do you start doing that day by day? Being intentional about who you're going to meet, right? Being intentional and proximity, right? So you got to start to be around, start being around those that you want. I was reading, it said, all right, envision yourself where you are, right? Where you want to be. Sorry about that. Envision yourself the person you want to be at your height, and then start to surround yourself around people that have that, right? And for most, all it takes is one connection. The difference between where you are today and your next season is a person. It's a person. It's a connection, right? That's why you got to leave the house. And if you can't leave the house, you got to, go online, right? Just start the conversations, right? Because you never know, the more people that you connect with, the higher probability, right? But you have to be interested in people, and you got to become interesting, right? Why did you want to be around me? You know what I'm saying? What did you see? Why did somebody? So you got to bring yourself to be a person of value, right? And just because you're not there today doesn't mean you can't do it. We all start somewhere, right? But today you can start acting as if, right? You can start taking the time, read the books, start studying the greats, and just mimicking, right? They say good artists copy, great artists steal, right? Like you got to
Yes.
start,
Yeah.
hey, it's whatever is duplicated was most profitable. So they say Jordan was, Kobe was a copy of Jordan. You know what I'm saying? It's like find whoever you want to model, start practicing, start becoming interesting, working on your body, working on your mind, believing who you are. And I'm telling you, as you build your value, it's going to be even easier. And then also just being around somebody and just being being humble and saying, hey man, I love what you're doing. I wish I could read your book, man. I watch all your videos. I want to learn, but right now I'm just not in a position to do X, Y, Z. You come out with people like that with a humble heart, it's gonna be hard for somebody to not be like, hey man, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, man. Here's the link. But most people don't do that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you show up at an event, you just show up there and be like, man, I just wanted to be outside just to hear something. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the money for it. I don't have a ticket, but I just wanted to at least come in and see. It's gonna be very hard for somebody not to be like, go ahead, man, get in there, right? But being transparent, being vulnerable, and they're saying, even when you're going through a financial situation, the power of asking, the power of saying, hey, I need help right now, bro. Man, I'm going through one of those seasons, bro. You know what I'm saying? I hate to ask, bro, but hey, I don't know what else I do, man. And the real people are gonna be like, even if they can't do something, they're gonna at least try to connect you. They're gonna try to, motivate you. They're gonna let you know it's okay. And then a lot of times you find out that the people you think is going crazy, they like, man, I'm telling, hey, man, I wish I had that. I'm like, you be like, oh, I just knew you had it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, we put people on this pedestal all the time, and they're human, just like you. Just like you. If you knew about the people that you admired and looked up to,
Yeah.
you would you believe in yourself a lot more.
Once you get to meet your own hero, you become disappointed. I've heard a quote
Ooh,
along those lines.
I like that. Say it again.
It's something along the lines.
You said
of,
it right.
The time that you get to meet your heroes, more than often you're disappointed because you had these high expectations and you put that person on a pedestal, but at the end of the day, they're only human.
They're only human. Nobody's perfect. That's why you got to give everybody grace, and that's why you got to do your best to move with goodness in your heart, move with love, move with this is zeal. Like, you know what? I know yesterday was horrible, but I'm not gonna let that be my viewpoint, right? Like, don't let people mess you up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to learn that you got to be happy on the way to happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to, all right, I got this check now. I got this, all this bag, the baddest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to learn, and this is very hard, right? But it's worth it. You got to learn to be happy. You got to learn to be proud of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're not proud. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn to, love yourself when you're 20 pounds, 30, 50 pounds overweight, right? You got to start being okay with, all right, you're on the process, man. You done had life happy, life smack you around, but it's all right. It's all right. Give yourself grace, man. And say, you know what? I'm him. I'm him. I'm him. That's why a lot of times I take a picture, I got jewelry on, because I be needing to remind myself. I'm him. You know what I'm saying? I'm worthy. You know what I'm saying? I did a misstep. You know what I'm saying? I did that. I wasn't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? I did apologize. But, I'm worthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get back. I'm going to make it right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be who my son, wants me to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be that model. I'm going to leave that legacy. And I got to do it. It's not about me. It's about him.
Woo! All right, man. We got about 4 minutes here. And you've been dropping some special gifts. Wisdom. Gold. Just the classics, man. The basics. The things that so many people forget about. Because they're too caught up in the shiny objects. They're too caught up in the fame. They're too caught up in the destination, but it's in the process, right? It's in the living in the present moment and truly working on yourself to become that person. Man, Rob, you're such a deep man, brother. You're such a deep man. I'm just digesting everything you just said because this is speaking loudly to a lot of people that are going to be watching this. And it's always unexpected when people look up to somebody like you. It's like, man, we see the lifestyle, we see the jewelry, we see the cars, we see the possessions, but we don't really see inside of what's in the men. Mm-hmm. And money don't make you different. It makes you more of who you are.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt so connected to you. And your humility, your character, and the compassion that you have to people, it's just, you can't fake it. You can't fake it. Like, I was at a conference with Break the Code with Alex Morton and Joey Brecca, who was the founder of 10X Health, who's partner with Grant Cardone. They actually did a study on the highest vibrational frequency inside of the body, and they were able to actually read it with color. And most people would think that love is the highest human emotion. But what the research came to find out was that authenticity is above love.
Really?
In human emotion. So
really?
When you are your true self,
wow.
When you express yourself, when you open up, when you speak from the heart, when you're pure, when you are you, guess what you're showing? Love.
Wow. I never knew that.
So, prophesy. So, man, it's like authenticity is really the key.
Yeah.
And what I see is what is missing right now in the marketplace, on social media, and on all these videos we watch. We just watch the shiny objects and, the movie. A lot of that stuff's fake, man. A lot of the followers, the likes, man, a lot of things are fake. So there's fake relationships out there. You know what I mean? But authenticity is the new connection factor. It's the new factor of influence. It's the new factor of building a movement. It's the new factor of bringing people together. It's being your true self, man. And that's what I've really gotten from this whole entire conversation. Like, we talked up on so many subjects. Like, I'm sure people here were expecting to get all the tips about money. But what good is money if you don't have wisdom? Wealth without wisdom leads to destruction. And that's what a lot of people don't know. So I appreciate you bringing in the wisdom. I appreciate you bringing in the authenticity. And I appreciate you sharing so many intimate things about your life and opening up and truly being vulnerable and sharing those things. It's very rare to be able to connect with somebody at a deep level who opens up, holds a space, who is intimate, is present, and can truly capture how another person is feeling, what they're going through, to truly give from a place of service, right? I think this is the gem that most mentors, most coaches, most gurus out there are missing in the marketplace, because what they want is just more clients so they can make more money. Talk about making more impact, but I've never really been part of a program where you can sit with somebody, one-on-one, or in a intimate setting where it's safe to speak about just about anything, right? So you provide that space, and that true human connection is what truly transforms relationships. So this is golden, what you've been sharing on this podcast with me and with everybody that's watching this right now. So I want you to touch up a little bit more about the importance of what you're sharing.
Absolutely. I was saying when we took a little break that if I can give you one secret, which is no secrets, but if I can give you one cheat code, that if you took that out of all the other good things from this message, is that what I've been doing now, if you just paid attention, that is the sauce. That is the $1 million connection. That's how you do it. Because how we've been sitting, just talking, if you just decided to do this with people, And I'm talking, when you're here, you got to be here. You got to block everything else out. You got to put your phone down, right? And you got to be locked in, right? Don't let any distractions come. And it's talking about real stuff. If you did that, when you got with people, I'm telling you, you could connect with anybody, anybody. Because how do you get to somebody's, how you get here in their pockets is getting here.
Woo!
Right? Because when I know you want what's in my heart, I'll give you what's in my hand. But if you just want what's in my hand, you're gonna never have my heart. You think about it as guys. Like, guys don't, a woman that asks for nothing to get everything. The woman that asks for everything to get nothing. Right? Because you like, nah, man, let me want to do it. I don't like, I'm an alpha. You can make me do nothing, but I just want to do this to make you happy. And when I'm like that, and just think about it like that for people, right? Of any category, you want to, being in this building, you see a lot of different people that are successful. And when you see successful people, you don't want, you're not going to get with somebody saying, hey, let me get a picture, let me do this, let me do that. But having something, that's going to really touch them. Like having, hey, I see that, I follow you. I see that your father passed on Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? Mine's also passed too. I just want to say thank you for XYZ and the relationship you have with your son and XYZ. Like, that is going to like get you to like a wow, right? It's like he pays attention, right? Because once I know that you care, I'm like, I'm going to give you more time. So, case in point, I had one of my mentees, and this is something that is a cheat code for you as well. I seen him in the lobby. He just got done filming Honcho, the guy you just seen whose hair just cut. And he seen me, he said, hey, Honcho doesn't talk to anybody, so I know you're successful. I know what you do, but I'm gonna be here on Wednesdays, and I'd love to record you. And, and he said, I'll do it for free. And I'm like, okay. So he came when I went. I said, don't come on Wednesday, come. It was actually my son's birthday. So he came, he recorded everything. I mean, he stayed the whole night. Then at the end of the night, he had like 1,000 pictures to send and download. And I'm like always waiting for, all right, well, let me edit it. I'm gonna have to pay for something somewhere.
Okay.
And he was like, nah, here you go. And he just left. So I'm like, he said, I'll be over on Wednesday. I'm like, wow. So when he came back Wednesday, and me listening, I heard that he said he had never been to a Miami Heat game. So what did I do? When he came to take pictures, I gave him an experience because I'm the go-giver. You ain't going to outvalue me, right? And that's a cheat code too. But I said, let me give him an experience that he can stay with. And I took him to a game, suite, everything paid for. And that was something that, we was able to connect on a deeper level because I'm always trying to connect on a deeper level. So then the third time he came over and he stayed real late. And I noticed he's like falling asleep on my couch. So I'm like, are you where you staying at, right? Because when you've been homeless before, like I've been homeless, it's certain things, right? Like, And he was like, I finally got him, he was sleeping in his car. And I was like, okay. Well, hey, it's a room back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you, go ahead. And I just opened up my house. And that ended up going on for 60 days, right? I'm staying with 60 days, move everything in, took him shopping, you know what I'm saying? Blessed him with, some glasses, some watches. I ain't gonna just stun on somebody, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure they get to. And, but yeah, like that, for that length of time, like he was able to see things, experience things, and just know that, hey, you in this together. But that came from what? Adding value first, right? Connecting with me genuinely, doing what he said, right? And then just listening, right? So from all that, you never know how one connection can change your life, and then all the other people he's met, and then he's recorded a lot. So he's gonna be able to, not only have that, but listen to me. It's like when you lead with service, right? Because just because you don't have the money doesn't mean you can't find other things to do, right? When you lead with a giving heart, with the right person. Now, it is people that's gonna take advantage. It's life. It's gonna happen, right? But when you get with the right person, right, which may take you several people, you'll find somebody that's gonna say, you know what, it's really gonna add value too. So those is the biggest cheat codes. That's how you can do it. That's how you get in any circle. Even if you're at a conference, you see somebody, one of the speakers, and say, hey, I know you're super busy right now. Last person I seen, I said, hey, he had his wife with him. I said, that was a great talk. I know you're super busy. Hey, here's $250. Could y'all at least have dinner on me? Wow. Like, could you please have dinner on me? That was awesome. Hey, I thanked his wife. Hey, you're even more awesome for staying with him. I know it's hard. Made it funny. And I was able to get his personal number, right? Personal number. And this is somebody that charges $100,000 an hour for coaching.
Yeah.
And then was able to build a relationship. I said, hey, if you don't mind, I'd love to get you, a private car to the airport. I'm gonna be in there too, but I got them like a private car to the airport, and that's how I was able to build. And then the fortune's in the follow-up. You don't have one good time, and you don't talk again, right? It's somebody I know that I'm very close to that is able to connect with a lot of people. But then when it's time to keep that relationship, make it even stronger, he used to let, it's not him now, he used to let little mental blocks and little personal insecurities about himself stop him. All right, when the imitation,
this is true.
When everything was already there, it was always there.
This is true.
Self-image, that's why I talked about that. So we both put ourselves on front, but it's when you get that relationship, you got to nurture it, you got to value it, and you got to take time. Hey, next time, hey, maybe I take them to breakfast next time. But it's always be trying to serve, right? And by service to many, it leads to greatness. And that's what's going to get you to in those rooms where people can't even pay for. Because when you have the right relationships, it's some rooms that you can't buy. You can't pay to get in. You got to have a relationship. You got to have a connection. And that's where you want to. That's why you want to be a connectionaire, because you want to focus on not just financial things. You want to focus on somebody's emotional bank account. Emotional bank account, you invest in that, the finance is coming.
That's bomb right there. That's just like, man, drops the mic. That, just as you were speaking, I was already getting so many breakthroughs and ideas on how I can become more valuable myself, to my network, and to future guests that are going to be coming in the podcast. I got to make things special in order to be able to land important people that can provide a tremendous amount of value, just like you, for everybody that is watching this right now. And
even add that, and that's the reason why you do that. You start adding value before you need it. Listen to me. Dig your well before you're thirsty. Dig your well. Don't wait. A lot of times people wait. All right, I want to get this person on my show. When's the last time we talked to them? 6 months ago. Right? Why don't you just go and comment and like their stuff? I'm sure they're on social media.
You're
like,
preaching right now.
Like, comment. Make an actual comment. Deep, That's dope. You know what I'm saying?
That resonates with
yes,
them.
every day. All the time. Watch their videos, be invested in them. So about time, you're front of mind, right? You're front of mind. Like, it ain't like, so just do these things. Social media makes it easier. Reach out, send a text. Hey, just seeing how you're doing. I know you manage all these people. Let me know if there's anything that you need, anything that I can do for you. Matter of fact, hey, I stopped and find out their favorite food, find out their favorite, just do little things. It's not about when certain people have things, it's the little things that don't cost money that make the biggest difference, right? New Age CEO, Justin, when my father died, you look in there, he got me these glass little sculpture with the pictures of my father and me. He went and got a picture and said, always with you. So that's a cheat code right there. I mean, like, it's like you took the time. I may have been $100, but it was not. I'll have that forever. Yeah. So it's doing the little things that let you know that you care, but you just got to be invested. You got to pay attention and look for things for the heart. Right? Look for the heart. You go for the heart, everything else come with it.
Man, that was so deep. You got to speak to people's emotions, and you got to speak from the heart, right? Talking about the authenticity. You got to be real with people. Like, if you truly want to make a connection with somebody, like, what would make somebody go out of their way to want to connect with you? What are you doing differently? What are you doing differently?
Exactly. Even like having a dog. Even talking about networking, right? So one of the great pieces we hinted on a little bit, but why are dogs so important? Well, in Miami, Frenchies, was blessed. Labrador,
Bless is a golden.
golden retrievers, doodles, golden doodles. Like, this is a dog city that I've never known. And it's like now, before they see this big, strong, handsome, charismatic, no, this big black, this big black guy, but they probably think he's a football player, or retired football player, depending on who you're talking to. It's like, it's gonna be some reservation. It's gonna be like, you know, people gonna be kind of pulling back. But when I have Billy, you know, when I have that,
They flock him.
it's like it's an automatic, like, oh, like he's safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm for being guilty to safe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, find little things that, you know, make you more interesting, right? And sometimes the dog is that. If you're shy, get your dog, have people come to you, right? So it's like, just use your mind. Think, okay, what can I have to be interesting? I want a new clientele. I want more income, right? That's what most people are thinking. All right, well, who around you has that? Then find a way to give them something that they're lacking, they're missing. Hey, you know what? I went through your content. I see you don't do it as consistently. Hey, if you need some help, you know, going forward, I know a great connection. You know what I'm saying? X, Y, Z. Hey, I'll be the one. If you want, I can come over. I can do video. I can just find a way to add value. See what they're missing, right? Because I'm sure they're just probably looking for somebody for it. Say you're going to do it for free, right? Because that's how it's going to be more genuine.
Yeah.
You know, the cameraman that asked me to film before this guy came, said I'll come 3 times, you know, a month. I'll get a lot of content. That's $12,000 a month, you know. And I'm like,
no real relationship,
but not last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at a certain point, you lose enough, you start being a little bit smarter. So you're like, But it's just be interested in people, find out what people need. Like, I think what we're getting from this whole consensus is it can't be about you. It can't be about you, right? You know, so when you're meeting somebody, it's about them adding value. But then when you're by yourself, it's about you adding value to yourself. It's about you building your self-esteem, making yourself, you know, look better. They say don't judge a book by its cover. That's a lie. 80% of the reason why people buy books is the cover.
Yeah.
So when I first meet you, I make 9 judgments in the first 10 seconds. You know that? So I'm judging you, right? So give people something to look at that's more pleasing, right? That's why going to the gym, you know, BBLs, you know, or that wigs, you know, all that stuff, you know, it makes it more pleasing. But find, you know, the better you can make yourself look, the easier it's going to be to connect with people, because everybody's not going to see you and just be like, you have a great heart, you know, like, they want that heart to be cased in something. So with your self-image, loving yourself, these are things that you can do for yourself. Listen to certain things. I'm telling you, if you did that, no matter what age you're in, your mental health is going to get better, your physical health is going to get better, your love life is going to get better, your appreciation for, you know, your kids, your family, like all these things are going to get better if I really feel like they start doing the things we talked about.
Wow, man, yo, the Connectionaire is alive. The Connectionaire is speaking.
You know what's
right
crazy?
now.
Like, you may have been like timid or worried, or like, you know what, like, I don't know if, you know, I should hit him up, man. He's probably busy. You know, like all that self-doubt. I'm just saying, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't want to be inconvenienced, man. He got all this going on. You know, like, but you never know if you just pursue it and just say, you know what, I'm going to do it scared, right? Because you're not always going to be brave and confident. Like, but you say, you know what, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot, right? You don't know, like for me, I think this has made me better because I've got to really like get things off my chest that I've never, you know, talked about. You know, I don't want to just always talk about, and most people that are successful, they don't want to talk about why they're successful, or, you know, they don't want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to talk about money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the
money's on their mind 99% of the
like,
time.
Or whatever I'm great at. Like, you just want to break. You know what I'm saying? When you give so much out to the world, but like, no, you just want to. I want to take all this off and just be myself, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to thank you because by you doing that, and even your brother, you know what I'm saying, being here and serving and, you know, taking the time out of his day, it's helped me to, you know, feel more confident and say, you know what, I do got some stuff to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't felt nervous I felt like I ain't been stuttering because sometimes, you know, I would do that. Right, trying to find myself. But it's like, like you never know the little thing, the thing that you think is little, what I can do, what I can turn into. Because even if we film all this, right, and it just helps one person,
Yeah.
it talks one person off the
Yeah.
ledge, that's worth it,
Yeah.
right? That's better
Yeah.
than what else I would have been doing today.
Man, that's so deep, brother. Because for me, I always man, I want to take the fast path to success. And one thing that I've learned is that there's no shortcuts. You're gonna take a lot of shortcuts, and the power is in really helping one person, right? If you got one like, that's one person who likes you. That's one person's life you can change. That's one person's life you can impact. That's one person that you can connect.
Look, and even look, the first like is yourself. Even if you make it and is this you like it. Your like matters, right?
Your like matters. Well, we should bring that back, man. Your like matters. Like, we can't post things in approval for other people and expecting, hey, are people going to like this because we alter our personality and our uniqueness and our authenticity by posting what's going to be acceptable. But your like matters. That's like a hashtag.
It is.
You are worthy, right? You talked about you are worthy. Your like matters. You're the only like that you need. That's deep. You're the only like that you need. So what I've gotten from this is like, don't be afraid to be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail. That's a big one. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to explore things that are outside of your comfort zone, because on that side is where growth really lies. And people that have more than you, people that have what you want, don't be envied, don't be jealous, don't hate, but rather appreciate, learn, ask, and give so you can receive value, wisdom, insight, things that are going to improve the quality of your life, your relationships, your mindset, get you aligned, get you confident, improve your self-concept. Because, man, life truly is all about relationships. That's the currency, right? When they say your network is your net worth, it's because, man, with just a phone call, with just a social media connection, you have so much power and influence, and you can connect people and do so many amazing things with it. So
it was something how are we looking on time?
Yeah, right now, 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. It was something that, and I can't believe I wrote this like 14 years ago.
wow.
Maybe it's time for another one. But
I think so, man. I think so.
It's a chapter on here called The Power of Asking, because I think it's not talked about enough, and all the stigma around it is like people are so afraid right now. A lot of stuff's going on with money, right? A lot of people don't have the money that you think they have, and everywhere I go, people are asking for it, right? It's everywhere, home, house. You can't leave without somebody asking for it. I think it's is important because I go over like the power of asking, the myth, and what the truth is, right? So can I share that?
Absolutely.
So I say it's not what you know or who you know, but who you will ask. Getting help from people is one of the main reasons for establishing a large network. But if you never take the time to tap into your network, you will waste not only valuable time, but valuable resources as well. So I'm gonna skip forward and just go over some of the myths of asking. Right? One, the myth, asking for help makes us look vulnerable. Truth, asking for help creates an atmosphere of empowerment. It communicates to others that while you may not have the answers, you're willing to find them and make things better. Myth number two, holding things in and keeping personal issues under wraps keeps us secure. Right? Truth is, the person who can speak the most freely about his or her life's trials and tribulations and their personal and professional desires is often the person most comfortable about themselves and their goals and has accepted their place in life. In reality, not allowing yourself to be known keeps you socially isolated and therefore insecure. When you seek the counsel of others, you're not only connected with them, but you also realize that you're not the only one alone in your struggle. Right? Myth number three, it may be a bother to others. The truth is, doing it all can do you in. I don't know how that said it. Being too self-sufficient No, we're gonna leave it in. Leave my mistakes in, right? I can read doing it.
Imperfection is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but being too self-sufficient can create stress levels that tip your physical, emotional, and spiritual scales, right? So don't try to do everything yourself, right? You're gonna burn yourself out. Myth: highly successful people never ask for help. Truth: actually successful individuals will tell you that the key to success is knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Learning how to delegate, asking for help, and letting others show you the way are part of the plan. Successful people are driven and motivated. When the going gets tough, they tell people to ask for help.
That's so true, man. The stupidest question is the one you don't ask.
Exactly. Myth: I'm a giver. I don't like when others help me. The truth is, get over it. With practice, you'll learn to be comfortable when others help you. And before long, you'll come to realize that you deserve a helping hand every now and then. So that was just a short little blurb, but like a lot of times I was watching T.R. Ecker's The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And he has a portion where he's like, well, which arm is better, your left or the right? Right? And some people will say the left, some people say right, and he says both, right? So just as one is important is giving, right? This is giving. So you work out, you don't lift with this, right? But since this ain't your strong hand, you don't use it as much, you can't say, I want it. You got to use that same thing. So receiving, you got to be as good at receiving as you are at giving. And that's one thing that successful people will do. They take it. They see a penny or dime on the ground, they gonna pick it up. Right? They say, oh man, this ain't nothing, man, you know. You know what I'm saying? So one, you got to have both, right? It's giving and receiving are equally as important, right? Last thing too, if I give you something, a gift, right? And when you give something, you feel good. So why is it if I'm trying to give you something, you make it hard for me? Why are you robbing me from that experience? You don't know, I'm trying to plant a seed in you, but you blocking it because you don't want to receive, right? Because you've been told, oh man, you know, I gotta be humble, man. I could never. And it's like, you better take that.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you activate and you keep the circle. Money is a flow. We talked about money is liquid, money is always moving.
Yeah.
So don't stop it. Start receiving. You start receiving, right? You come to people with an open heart.
Muscle.
Exactly. Instead of a closed, come open, man. Come open, receive, and just watch how things change.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that was powerful, man. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to adopt the attitude of curiosity, right? Because it's going to take you far. It's going to take you places. You know, when it came to you, I didn't doubt myself. I wasn't afraid to reach out to you. I knew your time was valuable. I knew you were busy. I knew that I had to find a way to connect with you. And looking back, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was because we already had that previous history that we worked together, and it was like a divine connection, a divine time. And I'm just grateful, man. I've been able to learn so much from you genuinely on the two most important. Most people here want to watch this because they want to make money, right? But if you don't got the right energy, connection, or relationship, money ain't coming, right?
It'll come, but it may not stay, right? So,
because wisdom,
I'm telling you,
wealth without wisdom leads to destruction.
Absolutely.
So, your heart just really shows what kind of man you are.
Yeah.
You know, what's truly important to
Yeah.
you. And it's not about the money, it's about the impact.
Yeah, but money is important. You ain't saying money is not important.
We're not saying that by any means.
Yeah, but, and I would say, like, even talking on that subject, I rarely hear people say what they're struggling with or what they're learning from when they get interviewed, right? We do these podcasts and it make it seem like we all got all the answers, right? We hear, right? And it's like, I guess, honesty hour or truthful second. I would say for me, I went through this last season, the last 5-6 months. This is probably my third or fourth time I've had to, recover, right? And, from having everything to making bad investments to do things like that to, getting it back, right? But it's like, the thing I'm getting the most out of this season is that other than my relationship with God is the most important thing, right? Like it's like when you're going through something, you're like all right. If you help me this one time, I swear I ain't going back. Like
Yeah.
I got you. As
Yeah.
soon as you up again, you like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to
and
run away.
and you like, I'm the same thing again. So for me, I've learned to so much, and it's been like a very tough. It hasn't been easy. I've cried a lot of nights, man. I've been afraid, in fear more than I like to. If we're just being totally honest. But I've learned that transparency, letting people know, taking accountability. If there's areas where you did do things, you gotta apologize, man. You gotta, I know sometimes it's hard to pick up that phone and say, but you gotta do that. So
The magic words.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I mean, it goes so far in just like trying to remove my ego. Still having it as far as like what I got to do, because you can't just totally get it away. But it's like just getting to a point where it's like, man, I'm not my possessions, right? Like I don't have to always go out and have a chain on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to always go out and have something designer. Like I'm like
You
worthy.
are you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worthy just being
with or
me.
without it. Yeah.
With or without. So for me, I say that's people would look at me and not. I don't think so. They may be like, I knew, but you never know. I'm just like the majority of others, man.
Let's ignore the background noise.
I am. But it's like we're all human. Even talking to Chris, I was able to connect with him at a deeper level because, we both he can understand my what I was going through, right? And you never know, like in some of your darkest times, you'll create some of your best relationships.
Oh my God, man.
For real, because you wouldn't have been, think about it, you wouldn't have been able to be as open. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
you hurting,
Yeah.
when a guy pocket hurting or
Yeah.
somebody died,
Yeah.
that's when you like, that's when you really.
We know what Yaya
So,
says?
what?
Pain sharpens the listening. As we're actually doing this podcast right now, man, in my head, I get frustrated. I get frustrated so fast, man, because I'm a perfectionist. I want to have everything perfect, my communication, my ideas, my company, my business, OCD. I mean, you name it, I want to be perfect, man. And I think that's what has been my downfall. Because perfection doesn't exist. We learn as we go.
Was your downfall or is?
Being perfectionist.
Yeah.
Wanting to have having the perfect tagline to connect, having the perfect caption to post, to get the likes, to get the validation, right? And what I'm learning is, man, you got to put yourself out there truly as you are, and by doing that, you learn, you gain experience, you gain insight, you gain wisdom, you gain feedback, right? The mind is designed to be a goal-seeking machine. That's why we have an RAS, right? We set a target, like a heat-seeking missile. It follows where we gotta go, right? There's no such thing as failure in life. Failure don't exist. It's feedback, right? So if you shot your shot and you missed, I mean, all you gotta do is work on the form, right? All you gotta do is take a couple more shots, and then you're gonna be looking like Steph Curry. Not overnight,
Man.
but with consistency, with practice, with repetition, which is the mother of skill, is how we get better.
Yeah.
Right? So, for the longest time, I thought that failure was something we had to avoid. And you cannot get into success without failing. And that's why so many successful people say, fail forward, fail faster. Because in reality, it's just feedback. It's a feedback loop that allows ourselves to auto-correct in the destination that we want to enter into. So so many takeaways that I've gotten from this whole conversation. So many. I can't even jot them down, but after this, I will definitely have to watch this like an NBA player when after the game, they're like, yo, we got to go straight to watch the tape. This is how I feel about this, because this podcast has really expanded my mind to another dimension, and it's giving me hunger to be a better connector, a better relationship builder, to have an open heart, to be more genuine, to be more authentic, to be more transparent. I remember at Funnel Hacking Live 2021, I heard Trenton Shelton, great motivational speaker.
Yeah.
He said, your transparency leads to transformation, right? It's when we express those things, when we let them out, when we let go of the weight, the emotional baggage, when we set them free, right? The truth, when we speak it, we give it, man, there's just something magical that happens when we are ourselves. That's why authenticity is the highest vibration. It takes you to new heights, new levels. And that's been the main focus of my podcast. And that's why I haven't gotten a continuation of episodes of people, because I don't want it to be a thing about quantity. I want it to be about quality. I want it to be about authenticity. I want it to be about connection. I want it to be helpful to people, not what they can go on YouTube and just see how to get money, how to get rich, how to build an online business, how to pick up women, whatever. I want this to be something special where we're speaking from the heart. We're speaking from experience. We're speaking from what we've gone through so that people avoid going through the same struggles that people don't want to talk about, right? Like, man, I know throughout my journey, I've been depressed, I've been stressed, I've been afraid, I've doubted myself. And I was so afraid to open up because we build these images, these concepts that we have to have it all together, that we have to be perfect, that we have to have the perfect pitch, the perfect everything. But man, that's why when you huh?
That was a perfect. That was a
perfect
P,
pitch.
Right? Oh, okay, I did.
Perfect pitch.
I didn't know
perfect,
there was a B in there.
perfect, whatever. And that's why they say when you meet your heroes, more than likely you'll be disappointed because, man, they're just human. So moving forward, my goal is to be more open, more transparent, more authentic, and share more about this human experience, because it's through experiences that we grow, and through sharing these stories that people can change and transform. See, that's why mentors are very important, because they compress decades into days, into months, and they help avoid the pitfalls, the roadblocks that we face when we don't have a mentor. So, man, it's deep. It's deep. And is there anything that that's on your mind that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I can always talk about something. Let me go and see here what I feel like is needed. I'm sure, bro. Hey, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you would wanna know if you didn't know me for Adam?
Bro, you gotta know, man. If you didn't know, what would it be?
Right. Well, what's something that you want to know, or something that you wish you had an answer to, or anything like that? Like just.
I would say just touch maybe on the topic of like maybe what it takes to be successful and what you feel success is for you.
Okay.
So,
oh, nice. I can do it. Okay.
What Matthew, who is behind the camera right now, was asking us for you to define what success means to you, and what does it take?
That's a great question. I think it's always changing with me. I think it'll change as you get older. I'm saying it like I'm old, and I turned 40. I'm acting like I'm 80 years old. When you get older, you're going to see this. No. They say success is a progressive realization of a worthy idea, right? But I think for me, what is success? Success is what makes you feel good even if you have nothing else, right? Like, if everything was taken away, what would I be like? What would I still be content about? What would I still be happy about? And honestly, it's being a great dad. I think being a good example, and trying to give him everything I wish I was given. Nobody's parents are great. I'm sure when my son gets older, he'll be like, man, remember that one time?
Yeah.
You know? I tried everything for you though, but it's like knowing that I did my best, knowing that I was patient. You know, I was trying to give him everything I could before Batman down there wanted to interrupt. But yeah, man, it's knowing that when people see me, I think one of the qualities people see, they say, man, hey, he a good dad. I don't know what else you do. You know, I don't know what else you say about it, but he is a good dad to his son. So that's, for me, that's one of my best qualities. And I think even making things like this is great because he'll be able to go back and hear how I was at this age.
Yeah.
Right? He'll be able to go and be like, worst case scenario, if something did happen, which is not for at least 100 years, but if it did, he can go and watch this and say, that his dad loves him. That his dad was there for him. His dad did everything he could. That he was my inspiration. And, it's going to be a lot of footage of him. Like, I'm always excited to record this because I'm like, he gets to watch this. Because don't you wish you would have seen, like, with our parents, would have seen how they were?
Yeah. Man, that's
what
so
they were
true.
thinking.
Yeah.
So this is good. And that's why I even did this, because it's something that's going to be here long after I'm gone. And being a proud father and being a great friend, right? You ain't gonna meet me or meet people I know and then be like, and people not gonna vouch for me. You know what I'm saying? People that don't know me can say a lot, but people that actually know me, know my heart, they know not in a million years would I ever do anything to hurt them, or I take my shirt off my back right now, mid-interview.
Yeah.
If somebody said they
That
liked
is true.
it.
That
So
is true.
I would say for me, at this point, success is not a dollar amount. It's about knowing that I'm a great father, and peace. Peace, man, is important, man. Peace, peace, fellas. Peace, laughter, and great food. You get that? Like, you winning, right? Like, the other stuff, you won't come and go. As your money goes up, you will have some great experiences, but as it goes down, it may leave, right? But
Peace is never going to leave.
peace, if you can learn to have peace, when calamity is going on, if you can get yourself centered and then be like, oh, you're a bad dude, right? Laughter, you got to laugh at life, because life is going to, so much stuff happens, and I'm like, Chris, like, this happened today, or this happened today, or I'm telling you, like, I'll be getting L's after L's after L's, and I'm like, I just laugh, because I'm like, I swear they said God was love, you know what I'm saying? It don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? But I laugh at it, because I'm like, he must be giving more credit. I think I'm stronger than what I am, because ain't no way I said I volunteered for this stuff. I know. So that, and then good food, man. I can be an emotional eater at times, but food makes me happy, man, especially good food. Good service, good ambiance, good restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things make me happy. And traveling, you see how this lit up.
Yeah.
Right? I ain't lit up this whole time.
Yeah.
But traveling, I can't wait till I can do that again. But those things, that's success for me. Like, it's crazy. Nothing, when I think about that answer, like, nothing was money related, Probably but the restaurants and food you eat. But it wasn't like I need to get this car, I need to get this house. I didn't have that. I didn't have the, 20,000 mansions and the Phantoms and Rolls and all that stuff. And want to be in the shop, when one's not in the shop, somebody or a friend will do something. Like, it's so much stuff that happens, man. And it's like, after you have it for a month, then you got to deal with them payments. Or you like, I put all this, well, I put $400,000 in this car. You like, I wish I would have did that. And clothes. You like, I'm paying $1,000 for a shirt for. But yeah, so all those things I'm learning now, as all these mosquitoes and bugs from Africa come, that it's about laughter, man. And that's one side too, along with the, deep side. I do want people to see more this year that I laugh 90% of the time. Like, I'm not ever as serious as y'all be thinking I am.
Yeah. I think that's the key, man. Humor, playfulness, having a good dynamic. When to be serious, when to have a good time. Having a fine balance between the two. I won class clown, I've always been that funny dude, and I enjoy making people laugh. I enjoy making people feel good. We have that in common as well. And I want to actually wrap up with a final question. What does legacy mean to you?
Whew.
I mean, we can already, I feel like you've already answered that. Being a good father, being a good friend. And you are living your legacy, because at the end of the day, you are being the best father you can possibly be. You are being an example to the next generation. You are fostering your relationships, and man, this is a legacy. In the making. Yeah,
it is, and I think legacy is living your purpose, right? Like, your calling, right? I've probably heard that 50 times in the last 3 weeks messing with you. You started like a whole, but knowing that, man, you know, what you want, sometimes what you want to do, and like you keep having to go through things in life because it's like, you think it's this, and you're frustrated because this ain't working, but it's supposed to be this. Like, I was talking to my aunts, and my aunt was like, your wealth is in your mouth, right? Like, you need to, your purpose is you touching, you speaking more, like,
Wow.
you got so much in you, right? You're so full, and nobody knows. Or you post these pictures of this stuff, and nobody knows your heart, and knows who you are, and your ability to connect with people, and your ability to, you know, touch people, right? Like, and that's what I don't say I've been running from, but I've been more so focused on, let me get this stuff that I neglected. And I think that, you know, now that I'm doing these things now, you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of how I sound, me sounding perfect, we just gonna put it out. You know what I'm saying? Just gonna put it out, and whoever it touches, but I know I feel good when I do this, right? So
It lights up.
yeah, so it's like, I was talking to a 20-year-old today, and he was like at the dog park. He said, "I just want to know what I want to do." I said, "Bro, you're 20. You ain't supposed to know." That would suck for everybody else because I'm still trying to figure it out. So it's like, no, like your 20s, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna mess up a million times. Just be present, right? Your 30s too, right? But just do what you love. Do what you enjoy. Do what you feel like is really gonna impact people, right? And if you had all the money in the world, if you had all the money and time in the world, what would you be doing? And I'll be doing this right now.
Wow.
So that's how I know my purpose. That's legacy. Y'all gonna see way more of me out here. The right team, you know, I believe I'm the right team, circle, all that's coming. And I'm gonna do it from a pure heart because that's all I got. That's all I can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, is really give people
That's where the goal
honesty
is.
and authenticity. Now that I know that's higher than love, you know, I'm gonna do even more. You know, so I'm excited, toes out, you know what I'm saying, feet out, everything. I'm excited, and I appreciate you for letting this be, you know, part of my legacy.
Absolutely, man. It's an honor and privilege to share this conversation with you, the intimacy, the information, your heart, your humility, your character. Man, all my life, I prayed for successful people that had character, that had values, men of God. And, you know, finally you appeared. Finally, you know, we connected. And maybe a couple years ago, I wouldn't have had the character to sustain this kind of relationship. A few years ago, maybe I wanted to be in it for the fun. But I know God connected us at the right time.
Yeah.
For his purpose.
Yeah.
And we share similar passions, similar visions.
Yeah.
And we both want to have the impact on other people. You know, you have such a heart for people. You have a grace of connection. You understand human behavior really well. You have gone through experiences that I've never gone through, right? You have a lot of wisdom that you carry. And on top of that, you're a father before anything, right? There's so many character traits that you carry, man, that, you know, I aspire to have, and that I carry a little bit of, and, you know, I'm going to continue molding and growing in them. And the future's looking bright, you know?
It is.
You said it at the beginning, like, this too shall pass, you know? And life is really about the journey. It's never about the destination, right? This podcast has been launched, and it's all about the people. It's all about the journey. It's all about the experience, the conversations that we're sharing, right? They're gonna shift the trajectory in our life in such a positive way. They're gonna align us with, you know, the people that are gonna connect with this message, the people that need mentorship, the people that need help, the people that maybe you're depressed, the people that need therapy. God knows, right? But we can only be used when we're authentic, when we're speaking from the heart, when we're sharing our experiences. And this is just the first step for the legacy that, you know, we're building here. So thank you for your time. Thank you for, having us here in your home, and for
How
being
the
you.
background look? How
Yeah.
look
For
sexy
being
now.
you, man.
You know.
For being you, like, I asked myself, like, what can I do for the rest of my life? And it's like, man, you know what I want to do for the rest of my life? Is become so obsessed with personal growth and development and just master human psychology and build such a divine, beautiful, loving connection, relationship with God that wherever I go to, there's grace, there's favor, there's opportunity.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
And to build a faith that's unmatchable to the point where, like, man, I don't gotta know what God has in store for me. I just know it's something great. And to be able to share those experiences with other people, to inspire them, to empower them, to show them, man, that with God all things are possible. It sounds cliche, but it's the truth. And this generation has lost sight of God. And man, it's time to bring him back. Because he's I truly believe he's got to be the center of everything that we do. Because what good is it that you connect with somebody but they don't got the right heart, right? What's good is that you connect with somebody but they don't got the right intention. They don't know God, right? A lot of investments can fall, bad business can be conducted, backstabs. We've been through that. I know you've been through that. I've been through that. And, the Jim Rohn, which was Tony Robbins' mentor, he said, like, man, you want to look for men who have failed in life. Because that's wisdom. That's experience. That's feedback. And right now, if I can make a prayer to God, I say, God, help me fail more. Bring more failure into my life.
That's unique. That's unique prayer.
It's like, I want to fail more.
Yeah.
I want to be more
That's
uncomfortable. I want to be in situations where I'm forced to grow. Because the comfort zone is a beautiful place to be. That's where all dreams die. That's where all ambition goes into the grave. See, the most popular place on earth is the graveyard, right? Everybody's dreams there go to die. And when God gives a vision, he gives provision, His word never comes back void. And we got something special. And it's a legacy in the making, man. It's really what it is. So I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited to continue sharing this journey, the story, the testimony, the experience. And man, the best is yet to come. So
the best is yet to come. We got a lot of good stuff. We got a lot of good. We got some heat. We got some. What you think? We got some sauce for 'em? Good. I feel good, man. I feel like I poured out a little bit of my cup, man. It was full and filling the brim for the longest, man. So I thank you, brother, for taking the time, an opportunity to always come pick me up, man, and take me places, man, and always show into my life and have this experience too. That's gonna touch a lot of people and help me once again to get out of my comfort zone too. So I appreciate you, man. Love you deeply.
Hey,
Christian,
likewise, brother.
My brother, and look forward to. Y'all let us know if y'all want to do this again. I think we're gonna get an encore. Let us know.
Yo, Lincoln Park is extinct. But we just getting started, man.
We just getting started, man. We just getting started.
Hey, alrighty. Peace.